Thank you for joining me today. I have my coffee today because I haven't been anywhere else to have one, and I have a cinnamon roll. So I have been craving cinnamon rolls, and a couple of weeks ago I was waiting to go on to do my talk with Jenny Lacote at the Jersey Arts Centre for the Jersey Festival of Words, and one of the volunteers came in with a small cake box, and inside there were 3 cinnamon rolls, and I said, oh, they look delicious. I've been craving a cinnamon roll. Where did you buy them? She said, oh, don't worry about that. She said, have one of these. She actually said, I got them from, is it Four or Flower in town? I know they're very good. I must go there. And she gave me one. I said, oh no, you can't do that. When I was doing my talk, in my bag and a napkin was a cinnamon roll, and it was delicious. Anyway, thank you for joining me again if you've been here before. If you haven't been here before, my name is Deborah Carr. I write historical fiction in that name, and I also write contemporary romances as Georgina Troy and thrillers as Ella Drummond. Welcome to my channel. So today I thought I'd talk about something that I've been very excited about for a while. So I wrote, a couple of years ago, I wrote the Mrs. Boots series. In England, if you live in England, you will recognise the name Boots. We have Boots the Chemist over here, lots of Boots stores, and in Boots you can buy anything from makeup. You have a pharmacy, which is what the Boots empire originally started out as, and they're on every high street of Boots pretty much. So everybody knows of Boots in the UK. In Jersey, the founder of Boots, Jessie Boot, and his much younger wife, Florence Rowe, they married in 1886, and they built an incredible empire together. It originated in Nottingham, where Jessie Boot was from, and he was knighted, he was made a baronet, had an incredible life. Florence Rowe, Florence Boot, his wife, came from Jersey in the Channel Islands where I live. And I was asked by my publisher at HarperCollins to write a trilogy about this incredible couple. And that's what I did. However, I have a big audience in the States and Canada, and over there, Boots is actually part of the Walgreens Boots Alliance. It is not Boots, so they don't have a Boots. So having books called Mrs. Boots, or Mrs. Boots of Pam Street, or Mrs. Boots Goes to War probably doesn't make too much sense. And also, the first book in the trilogy covers 1 year. It's a very gentle book, and it's how the couple met, the difficulties they went through to eventually marry. It was a very gentle book and very different to my other books. And so I imagine that anyone reading that first book, if they thought it wasn't their thing because it was a bit too gentle, then probably wouldn't go in to read the second and the third book. So this was a little bit of a conundrum for my publisher and for me, and they decided that not only should the series have new titles and new beautiful covers, which I will show you shortly, but also they should be put in a different order. So now the second and third book are now the first and second book, and the first book that covers 1 year is an extra book that if you enjoyed the first and second book and getting to know this family, you could buy the third book to discover the background behind Florence and Jessie and how they met and married and that sort of thing. So the first book is now called the book Lover's Library, and this covers 15 years of their life from the early 1900s, and it's when Florence and Jessie have a very young family. They had 2 girls and a boy, and when they're trying to build their empire, and they open their flagship store. And Florence is trying, she was a very innovative lady of her age. They were great philanthropists, and whereas he was very much a Victorian gentleman, he was quite severely disabled, she was very young, very modern for her time, and had some brilliant ideas. She was a bookseller's daughter, and so she didn't just want the stalls to sell pharmaceutical products, which is what Jessie wanted them to do, but also wanted to introduce perfumes and makeup and things like beautiful mirrors and notebooks, and she eventually developed the lending library. So we have book one now in the series with this wonderful relaunch is the Book Lovers Library, pertaining to the lending library, Boots Lending Library. The second book in the series is the Book Lovers Letters. It's set during the Great War, so covers 4 years. It's still about the family. It's also about a young girl that the family helped very much and became very much part of their lives. Lily Buttons, sorry. And this story covers 4 years of their lives. By now, their children are grown up. And it's the Boots family's war effort and what their contribution to the Great War. So we have one of their daughters is married with a baby. So she's at home doing what she can from home, raising money for the war effort. Then their other daughter, she runs a canteen. It's a mobile canteen in northern France. The soldiers on their way to or from the front, and their son enlists. Jessie and Florence by now are that much older, but that doesn't mean to say they don't do their bit. So whereas Jessie ensures that their pharmaceutical side of the company develops lots of things for the war effort, one example being tablets to purify water for the soldiers to make their drinking water safe at the front. And Florence, she also plays her part. So it's a story about family, about ambition. It's a story about philanthropy and how this couple, by building their empire, helped so many other people. Florence Boot was very ahead of her time. She was very proud of her girls, who she called dear girls, our girls. And these girls, because she discovered that a lot of the women who worked in the boot stores, because people were very poor, would go without breakfast so that their husband and children could eat before they went out to work or out to school. And she ensured that every one of her dear girls would have a mug of cocoa when she came to work, so that she had some nourishment. And there's so many different things which you'll discover in the books. But these are not textbooks. This is a story. This is a fictional account inspired by truth. The second and third books, everything in there about the family is true, but they're novels. So it's a fictionalized account inspired by the incredible things that they did. So the third book then, if you then have enjoyed the Book Lovers Library and the Book Lovers Letters, you could then read about Florence and Jessie and how this incredible couple managed to overcome many obstacles and eventually married. And that last book is The Bookseller's Daughter, because Florence Boot, was a bookseller's daughter here in Jersey. So that's my exciting news. I will show you the covers, the 3 beautiful covers now. What do you think? I love them. I'm so excited. And thank you so much to One More Chapter at HarperCollins, and especially to my publisher, Charlotte Ledger at HarperCollins, because she is incredible. And when I suggested we do this, it takes a lot of time for people, for the team to make these changes and relaunch these books. And they have very kindly done me proud, much more so than even I could ever hope for. I love these covers. And I love that the series is in an order now where people who are used to reading my books and hopefully enjoying my books will then read 2 books that, a lot happens in the books. A lot happens in this first and second book. Of course it does. I like a lot to happen. I like twists and turns, and I like my readers to think, oh, I never knew that. It's fascinating. Is it true? Look it up. Yes, it is. And also learn about this incredible family and how much they did for others. They did an awful lot here in Jersey, but they did an awful lot also in Nottingham. But this is their story of them building their empire in the first book, The Book Lovers Library, and in the second book, The Book Lovers Letters. It's about their contribution to the Great War, their entire family's contribution to the Great War, and some of the very sad things that happen, and how they help people. I really, really enjoyed writing this series, and I was very lucky to meet Alison, the great-granddaughter of Florence Boot, and she's the great-granddaughter of Florence Boot, or granddaughter of Florence Boot, sorry, I've been busy all morning, so my brain's not quite with it as usual. And she showed me private family photos. She gave me anecdotes of the family. I was given a booklet to read that was very personal to the family, and I'm terribly, terribly grateful to her. And I was very nervous writing this series because she remembers her granny, and I met her with her daughter and her granddaughter. So I'm writing, to me, I'm used to writing novels, but this was inspired by a real family. And that family is obviously still around, and you want to do them justice, do Florence and Jesse's memory justice, but also entertain your readers. Anyway, the family, I then met her cousin and another friend, and they loved what I did. So that's a massive, massive relief. So yes, I hope if you haven't discovered my boot series, so my book lovers series, I will link below because they're now just been released in paperback and everywhere. I think we're still waiting probably for the second book, the Book Lovers Letters, to come out in Kindle maybe in the States. I'm not terribly sure. It wasn't out in the States yesterday, but they have been launched now. So please, if you're interested, go and have a look. And if you do read them, please do tell me what you think. I found this family utterly fascinating. I thought I knew a lot about Florence Boot because I'd looked into her life many years before for a blog post when I used to have a blog. And I thought I knew a lot about her, but I didn't. Fascinating, fascinating family. So that was my exciting news. And I also, at the moment, I'm working on a book that I've got to deliver at the beginning of December for Boldwood. It's my 30th book. It's the third book in my Hollyhock Farm series, and yesterday I heard back from my publisher Charlotte at HarperCollins about my Deborah Card book, my 2025 book for HarperCollins, which is quite slightly different to anything I've written before, and I was a bit nervous because I wasn't sure what Charlotte would think about it. Anyway, she loved it. I do have a lot of work to do on it, which I expected, but she's very excited about it, so that is such a relief. And I look forward to getting on with that book. But firstly, obviously, I have to finish my Boldwood book, which is written as Georgina Troy. So that's my busy week. I'm about to write another couple of thousand words for my book 3 of Hollyhock Farm, Joe's story. He's a firefighter. I'm loving writing about him. And the new lady in his life. Very exciting. So I'm about to get going with that. And yes, and then I'll actually work through some of the ideas that Charlotte had for my next year's book. So that's my busy day. I hope you're having a wonderful week. I'm going to go now and drink this probably cooling coffee and eat my, I wish you could smell it. Look, beautiful cinnamon bun. Oh, bliss. So I hope you have a lovely week. And if you want to have a little alert, all that happens is on your YouTube account, when you go to it, you'll see a little red dot, a little red light next to my name if you subscribe. So please do subscribe. Click the little red subscribe button below, and please do subscribe so that you'll have a little red light next to my name next time I post a video. So thanks for joining me, and look forward to chatting to you next time.